So the tell me about a time XYZ question is very common. It comes in the form of tell me about a time you got into a team conflict, tell me about a time you worked on something really challenging, tell me about a time that you failed really hard. These kinds of questions I find the reason why people are asking is about self-awareness. Has this person learned from their mistakes? What kind of experiences this person had, and how are those experiences going to help us at our company? And so how you want to form this question or form your answer to this question is tell them the situation, but the more important thing is tell them what you learned from that situation. The reason why is because if it's a team conflict question, the company wants to know that if you're going to get into that situation again in the future, do you know how to deal with that? Or is this person going to avoid getting in that situation in the future? So it's super important to reflect on what did you learn from that situation. So as kind of prep before you do interviews, I like to say come up with at least 3 scenarios or experiences that you can draw from. You should probably pick one that's related to a team, one that is related to, let's say, like a superior, and then one that's to do with like a really challenging project or situation that you had to deal with. And for all 3 of those situations, you want to write down in very clear short terms what was the situation. So like who was involved, give context about what it was and why it was a challenging situation. And then you want to write down what did you learn from that situation. So an example might be if they asked you, tell me about a time you got into team conflict, you might say something like, I was working on a team project during my boot camp, and I didn't know the people super well when we got into the team. We sort of had conflict around who was going to own what and what the deadlines were. And so when it came to the deadline of the project, we were very behind. People had built the same features without communicating, and it took a lot of sort of all-nighters to finish it within deadline. We did in the end finish the project, but we could have definitely gotten there a lot more smooth riding. What I learned from this when especially working with a team is that communication is super important, and that at the beginning of any project you have to be aligned on. Any project I've worked on after that, I've made sure to make sure that we have a very open line of communication, that we do daily stand-ups so we can know where everyone is at, and that too, at the beginning of the project, we're all very clear on what the deadlines are and what are the goals, and making sure that we're all on the same page. So that is a very clear example of what was the issue I had in the past and what did I learn from it. And then I actually gave specific examples of after that example, how I've avoided repeating that mistake. And so that really goes to show, self-awareness, and then actually just how like action oriented you are. Like, have you taken those learnings and have you put them into action since you've learned that?